Well, thank you very much. Good morning to all of you. It truly is my pleasure to be here in what is really a day that is New York at its best. First to the representatives of CUNY, to the chairman, to the chancellor, to the professors, to the students. This is a beautiful testament to what CUNY is all about. It's about higher education, it's about teaching, learning, but it's also about making a difference and a spirit of activism and involvement. And that is exactly what CUNY is doing today. So let's give them a round of applause for their leadership. We have our Secretary of State, Cesar Perales, who has spent a lifetime of advocacy for new immigrants. Let's give him a round of applause. And to the Daily News, Colin Mylar. The Daily News is a great journalistic empire in our city and our state, hard-hitting journalism, which is nice in concept. It's nice, hard-hitting journalism. Unless you're on the other side of the hard-hitting journalism, then it doesn't feel so nice. So I have a lot of interaction with the Daily News and Colin Mylar now that I'm on the other side of the hard-hitting journalism. And I call Colin once in a while. I don't want to say to complain. I'm not a complainer. I think it's more just pointing out the facts and the truth. I don't mind the articles, but if you look at the pictures the Daily News runs of me, look at those pictures. It makes it look like I have a big nose, bags under my eyes, lines in my face, which is a clear distortion of the truth, isn't it? That's exactly right. The Daily News is not just a great publication from a journalistic point of view. It has been in many ways the voice of the new immigrants for generations. That's what the Daily News always was about. It was the conversation place for the new immigrants coming to this city, coming to this state, coming to this country, where they could learn about the current events, the issues of our day. And they have done a magnificent job for generations, and they are probably doing some of their finest work right now. So let's give them a round of applause, Colin Mylar. This, what you're doing today, the volunteers, 350 volunteers who are here, the law firms who have helped, the professors from CUNY, it is the distillation of the best of New York. This is what we are all about, right? New York is the welcome mat to the nation. That's what the Statue of Liberty is all about. That's what New York Harbor is all about. That's what our premise is all about. That we open our arms and we say to people all across the globe, you're welcome. We want you to come here. That's our philosophy of democracy. That's our philosophy of what makes this country a great country. And we don't just welcome immigrants. We affirmatively welcome them and say, if you come here, not only are you welcome, but we will work with you in partnership because we want you to do well, because we believe if you do well and if you succeed, it's not just good for your family, it is good for all of us. So we have an agreement, a partnership with people who come here. First part of the partnership is a public education system that will bring you wherever you want to go if you're willing to work. That's why so much of what we do is we spend our time on our public schools. Why? Because the public schools in some areas are not as good as they were and not as good as they need to be. And that promise of public education said, you can come here from wherever, and you go through that public education system and you can rise as high as your talents will take you. Chairman mentioned my father, my grandfather. I am Andrew Cuomo, named for Andrea Cuomo. Andrea and Immacolata Cuomo came here from Italy, penniless. They had a son named Mario Cuomo, South Jamaica, Queens, poor community, running a little delicatessen grocery store. Mario Cuomo went to public education, and the public education system made him governor of the state of New York, all from the public education system. Colin Powell, boy from the Bronx, rises to the top federal ranks, an international figure, all from public education. That is, in many ways, what actualized the American promise. So it has to work. That's what CUNY is all about. That education will continue. And the CUNY system and the SUNY system. That was a fundamental promise. And we have even more creative ways to do it. Secretary of State Cesar Perales, working day and night and finding new ways to help people come into society. That's what this Phonebank is all about. Secretary of State's going to unveil a new program now where on a mobile phone you can get free English lessons. And immigrants can call in and farm workers can call in and just on a mobile phone learn how to speak the language to empower you, enable you to rise to the highest levels. So this is a great New York moment. And it is, as I said, the essence of New York. It also comes at a time when it is a powerful message nationwide. Because this nation is trying to figure out a number of things. We're trying to figure out how we have an economy that works for everyone. How do we get people who are at the bottom of the economic ladder up higher on the economic ladder without pulling down those who are at the top of the ladder? We're working through a lot of issues. And one of the issues we're working through is how we feel about immigration. And the dialogue has the full range. And there are people in this country, and there are parts of this country who say, we don't want any immigrants. We want to close the door. We think they're taking from me, that they're taking from us. And if we bring in more immigrants, it's going to cost me. And that's part of the immigration debate. Put up a fence, put up a wall, stop them from coming in. Because we don't want anyone detracting from what we have. That's part of the immigration debate. And a voice that is very loud and powerful in Washington and in many ways has stopped the progress that the president has wanted to make. There's another voice, which is your voice today and the voice of New York that says, don't be threatened and don't be afraid. And immigration isn't a bad thing. Immigration is a good thing. Immigration brings in new people with new talents, new cultures, and they add to society. They bring a new asset to society. They don't detract. Look at New York. 40% of the people in New York City were foreign born. 40% of the city, 20% of the state. We made New York the greatest state on the planet by welcoming people and using their strengths. And we are still doing it aggressively. That's the message that you send nationwide today. So you'll be helping thousands and thousands of immigrants on their journey to become citizens, and you're leading your voice at a time when this nation is engaged in an important dialogue. A more essential function, a more important function I can't think of. A more quintessentially New York function I can't think of. So congratulations to CUNY, congratulations to the Daily News, to Mort Zuckerman, who is a publisher who lives this message and has always been a champion of citizens, not just in this city, in this state, but around the globe, who need a champion. To Colin Mylar, do something about the pictures. They're false, they're misleading. Obviously, I have a tiny button nose, Colin. Thank you all very much for being here.